On the topic of race, I'm not gonna lie, guys, the most hateful messages I've been seeing are coming from Black women, and that's actually really surprising to me because I thought we were here to protect each other and lift each other's voices.
Don't blame Risa Tisa because Risa Tisa took accountability for her own actions. Now, all of her sons who are coming forward with these stories, let me just put this out here. Men are terrible. They will deceive you, trick you. They'll take your last tooth to smile at the next bitch. You know what I'm saying? That is implied here. But let's talk about y'all for a second. Risa Tisa said, I really just thought it was my turn and I ignored a lot of red flags, right? Y'all are coming forward and saying, can you believe this happened to me? And people are saying, yes, I can absolutely believe this happened to you. Risa Tisa kind of laid out the red flags and explained why she ignored them at the time. And she also pointed out some things that implied that this man was doing things to counteract those red flags, right? Y'all are not telling that story. And what's getting me about the Danish deception is that when a man asks you for $50,000, be up off that. Because I didn't hear anything from Risa Tisa that was like, oh, he needed all of my money and my funds up front. At first, it was he was paying all the bills. He was telling her he was going to get her stuff. But if I remember correctly, it wasn't a lot of fleecing her for her personal finances.
Through observation, because I am West African, I grew up around a lot of West African women. So I'm going to speak for that subset of people that I've been around. I feel like when it comes to dating white men, some African women tend to have a lot of low racial self-esteem, where the only thing this man has to be is white, and they look past every other signal, fire siren, red flag, whatever you want to call it, that he may have. And they make a lot of assumptions about this person's character, positive assumptions, without really vetting because he's white. And I also feel like a lot of these women also have this fantasy about having mixed race or biracial children, and they tend to talk about and fetishize what their children's gonna look like if they had kids with this man. I say all of this to say that I don't think that Danish deception story is uncommon. I feel like a lot of women take their L's in private. A lot of African women take their L's in private and they don't go parading it, because think about it. Think about if you grew up on the continent, especially if somebody's dating a white person, everybody just assumes that man is rolling in dough and that he's giving money. And even with our women, sometimes even with they're dating other African men and they're the breadwinners of the household, they tend to lie and put on this perception that they're being kept. So you can only imagine the embellishment that goes on based on societal expectations that this person is white, of how much they're lying about how much money they're actually receiving from the white person.
This Danish deception thing is kind of frying me, only because I don't like how y'all are comparing her to Risa Tisa. At least to me, Risa Tisa took accountability of how she purposely turned a blind eye to certain things that her ex-husband was doing because she thought it was finally her time and she wanted it to be her time. This lady, she not taking enough accountability for me. There were so many things that you could have Googled before we got to the part of being married to him and you sending him $50,000. Number one, she lost me at the Olympics thing. Honestly, that's when I really kind of tuned out of the story, because I said, girl, I guess maybe it's because I enjoy watching the Olympics. But if you tell me you participate in the Olympics, I'm Googling that. I'm going to ask you, where did you place? Did you get a gold, silver, bronze? What was your workout routine? What year were you in the Olympics? Where you participated? And then the part where she said that he had a royal title, that's also Googleable. And maybe it's just because I Google everything.
The thing about the Danish deception that I haven't seen anyone comment on yet is that she's lying. You can't tell me that in 2025 you have this life where you are able to see the world and make a ton of money and have friends with influence, and you didn't look up when this guy said he was a Danish prince. When he said he was an Olympic medalist, you weren't like, oh my god, I have to see your Wikipedia. She's lying. This whole time she knew. She was not tricked. She knew that this guy was not a Danish prince. She knew he wasn't a medalist, that he wasn't this super rich guy. But she was living in her own delusion that this would all kind of resolve itself. She has the guy, she has the guy that everyone else wants, that all of her white friends want. everyone has said this, thank God, that the first thing that she says about this guy is that he's tall, he has blue eyes, he's blonde, he's Danish. Like, it all has to do with her wanting to be chosen with a white man. We all agree on that. But she thought that this would all work itself out through the power of nothing. Like, she had no basis on that. She wanted to be chosen so bad by a white man that she ignored. They weren't red flags, she just knew that it was bad. Like, she ignored all of these truths on the thread of hope that with daddy's money, with her money, that she would still be able to secure this man. And we know this to be true because he left her. She was not going to let go of this guy for any reason, because at the end of the day, the pictures were good, her friends were jealous, and she was chosen by a white man.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, wherever part of the world you are watching me from. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please, if you're new here, ensure that you have clicked that subscribe button. Let us break down part 2 of this Danish lifestyle that Onyeka wanted to live and leave us in Africa like that. What? So, you've watched the video compilation and you've watched my previous video of how it all began, right? So, she once believed in a fairy tale. She's always believed that, but now she's starting to just regret it and staring into a nightmare. For her to come out live on air, on TikTok of all the places where everyone who is everyone is right now there, it means she really had to consult herself and just cry over it and all that, right? So she had fallen in love with the dream, the smug smiles, whispered promises, and the elegance of a life she only imagined. Hey, Onyek, I don't even know what to tell you. How will you send a man money 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 50 USD, thousand? Why? This is a Danish prince. Why is he asking you for money? Anyway, let's continue. So she'd fallen into this fantasy with this Danish white man, right? So, like, it felt like a fairy tale movie to her, by the way. At first, she brushed off the little things. She saw, I believe she saw the red flags, but she chose to ignore. She told herself she just brushed things off. She didn't take it seriously. So the way he disappeared without explanation is so funny, guys. The lies that didn't quite line up, the moments when his kindness felt conditional, given only when she stayed quiet, only when she played the part he wrote for her. So there were red flags. There were red flags, and she just chose not to. She just chose to ignore the flags. She ignored. She saw color red and decided to just blatantly just brush it off. So ignored because she actually believed in this prince. She deeply, truly, 100% and one believed this man was a prince. Believed that deep down he was not like you other men. He was different. He was beautiful, kind, a prince. He's not like the other men. That is what Onyeka believed. So that she believed that this man would change, that they would be different. Hey. But the love she discovered doesn't ask you to ignore your own intuition. Love doesn't demand you to give away your boundary or your voice. And above all, love without respect is not love at all. That is something that we need to echo all over the world. Love without respect is not love at all. Okay? Yeah, she sacrificed so much, from her peace, her confidence, even her relationships with friends and family. Because there's a point where her friend told her that, Onyeka, this is how it's going, and this man is using you and all this. And then she decided to cut the friend off. That was the wake up call, the red flags she was ignoring. Now see, The relationships have been broken. I'm sure that some of the family members have also been aware and told her that this and this is happening. You need to stay woke. Did she listen? Nope. So every doubt she just silenced it. Every concern was rationed. Every warning dismissed as fear until the storm came. Drum rolls, everyone. The storm. This Danish prince decided to show her shege. This man, when they say don't trust men, you think it's a joke. Now look at her. She thought that going to look for a Danish prince was the best option. I beg, even if it's a Nigerian, an African, a South African, they are all the same. Just be aware of who you are dating. That's the whole story about this. Who are you dating? Do you know them deeply? Or are you just racially choosing men based on their races? Hmm? So, so the storm actually came, and when it hit, she realized the deception wasn't only his, she had deceived herself. This was no longer just a story of loss, it was a revelation, it was a reckoning, because now she knows he wasn't her rescue. He was her lesson. This man, this Danish prince, was going to fuffle her. Hmm? F around and find out. And she did find out with the big whip on her back. So the man became as a lesson to her, and she wasn't the princess in the fairy tale anymore. She was the hero in her own journey. She may have ignored every red flag, but she didn't ignore the truth. And sometimes the greatest love story can never live is the one you where okay the greatest love story you can ever live is the one where you learn to love yourself first. That is the best fairy tale dream. Onyeka, a Nigerian, being conned because of someone who is white. The same thing Nigerians are doing to other white people is what is being done to you in that country, and you fall for it. Something must be wrong. And then this man, the audacity this Danish man has, lying he's a prince, going to the family members, borrowing money from Onyeka's sister, borrowing money from Onyeka's friend. I mean, she has loans because of this man. This man has unpaid debts. She's paying. The lifestyle they are living on Instagram is also being paid. Let me tell you, you can see these beautiful couples, these lifestyle content creators telling you how they've done shopping of 1 million shillings, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And then you want to be like them. I wish you knew how much they go through to get there. Look at the man. The Danish man was posting on Instagram, flaunting how beautiful life is. But who is paying? The wife. Onyeka, who doesn't want to think, who is ignoring her friend's choices because of a white man. Hmm? If it was Obina from Nigeria, would you be acting like that? You would have raised your standards. The fact that you're sending all that amount without questioning yourself is something that needs to be researched. And I wonder what a man can tell you to ignore your friends' opinions or your family. Anyway, we thank her for coming out here telling us her side of the story. And I wonder how many are going to just come out and tell us what's happening in those homes. Anyway, that is the end of the Danish Prince series. Take care of yourself. Subscribe. Bye.